Claude and Claude. Now, already you can see the problem here. Claude, C-L-A-U-D, is from Anthropic. Claude, C-L-A-W-D, God, is a new tool making waves in the AI scene over the last couple of days. However, as you can probably hear from me saying it out loud, very similar sounding to Claude. In fact, all of my videos yesterday, I had to keep describing which Claude I was talking about, and I almost went out and bought a little lobster that I could wave at the camera. So there is Claude, the new tool, the new hotness. They've already changed the name. This tool is an AI assistant that is actually good. So I have it on my telephone. So I use WhatsApp to chat to it, and it can proactively contact me. So it's a promise of Jarvis. It is the promise of Siri that we had many years ago. An AI assistant that is actually proactive. It is persistent. We can actually work with it. We can throw it tasks. It can remember everything, and it can get back to us on its own schedule. Very cool application. I put together a guide about how to install it. If you go to aiwithkyle.com/Claude, C-L-A-W-D bot, there is information here, including an installation guide. Here we go. However, as you can tell from me struggling to use the correct name, there has been a problem with the name. And Anthropic have come to CLAWDBOT, specifically to the owner of CLAWDBOT, or the guy who created it, Peter Steinberger, and said, you can't call it that. There is no way you can call it CLAWDBOT. That is too similar to Claude Sonnet and Claude Opus. Plus, it is an agentic AI assistant in the same way that our Claude Code or Claude Code Cowork are. So this is a category infringement. This is a name infringement. You cannot have a similar sounding name in the same category that is an IP infringement. So Anthropic have, unsurprisingly, I would say, come to him and said, no way, you need to change that name. And he has. I think this was the only thing he could do. They have changed the name CLAWDBOT to MaltBot, as in when it molts off. And Claude, C-L-A-W-D, has become Molty, M-O-L-T-Y. Still a terrible name. Even when I say MaltBot, I'm going to have to actually specify M-O-L-T. In UK English, we spell it M-O-U-L-T. Crabs and lobsters, they molt off their skin. And that's why we get soft shell crabs, interestingly, is when they're picked up just after a molt. So same lobster sole, new shell. Anthropic asked us to change our name, trademark stuff. Yes, and honestly, Molt fits perfectly. It's what lobsters do to grow. The new handle is MaltBot, same mission, AI that actually does things. Interestingly, people are saying, screw Anthropic, stepping on the little guys, and what do they have to make you change your name? Is this a joke? Anthropic really asked you to change your name because pronouncing it is similar to Claude. How is Claude a trademark violation of Claude? Honestly, Anthropic deserves to go bankrupt for its bullshit trademark stuff, etc., etc., etc. In trademarks, in IP law, if you do not protect your trademarks, that can hurt you later. It's not a pick and choose situation. You have to show that you are actively protecting your trademarks. This is how IP law works. You can't look at one project and be like, they're harmless, they're doing something cool. There might be a trademark infringement that is a problem. And if you have given one outfit a go ahead or ignored it, that can be used as precedent. This is why companies like Disney and Microsoft and many of the large corporations on earth will aggressively pursue trademark infringement. Nintendo is another great one here. It's not because they're evil. If they do not do it, dilutes their trademarks. It dilutes their intellectual property. These companies are primarily intellectual property companies. They have to do this. So this is not them sitting in their office like, haha, let's screw this guy, Peter. They have to look after their intellectual property. Otherwise, it devalues. If you know about IP law, you realize this is not malicious. This is just how IP law works, at least before artificial intelligence disrupts it. CLAWDBOT has become MaltBot. If you go on the website, it's still Claude.bot, but they've changed the name to MaltBot. This happened a few hours ago. Peter, the guy who created it, is very rapidly making changes, it looks like. The poor guy also had his GitHub hacked. Someone took control of it. Some people have set up CLAWDBOT crypto coins, which he's not affiliated with. Peter set this up, and it's become wildly successful. Scammers are moving in. Already hackers have tried to take his account. Already Anthropic, a multi-billion-dollar company, has sent him a cease and desist. He's had an incredibly stressful week, I imagine. If you are watching this, Peter, or if you see this later, I just want to say, just keep building. What you're building is amazing. What you've created is a really cool tool, and I'm sorry that you're having to put up with the noise and mess that comes from around it. For those people who have not tried out CLAWDBOT, MaltBot, and need to get used to the new name, I have put together a guide. It's on aiwithkyle.com/CLAWDBOT. I'll also set a URL for MaltBot as well, so you can get there either way. And I give you basically a rundown on what it is, why this is different from the other AI assistants we've had before, from the other AIs, some safety warnings. So I'm seeing a lot of people rush out to buy a Mac Mini, and then also giving you a guide to set it up, how you can set it up on a VPS, a virtual private server. It costs you about €5 a month, €10 a month, $10 or so, and that will allow you to run CLAWDBOT safely on your own server. So I would say it's not for the technically, if you get scared by technical stuff, I would skip this. I would skip CLAWDBOT for now. In a few months' time, somebody will probably come out with a nice, easy to install version of it. Hop in then, you don't need to right now. But if you are okay working in the terminal, installing dependencies, etc., 100% use this guide. If you don't mind getting your hands dirty and learning how to use the terminal, you'll be able to follow these instructions. Honestly, most of it is just copy pasting stuff into terminal, but terminal looks a bit scary. So if you can get past that intimidation factor, you should be able to do it. So that guide is all there on aiwithkyle/CLAWDBOT. I'm going to hop over to some questions. Hetzner is a VPS server. I'll pull it up. If I can spell it, I cannot spell it. So Hetzner, they provide various different servers, cloud servers. We've got dedicated servers, cloud managed server, web hosting. All you need is a cloud server. So if you go into cloud, cheap hosted VPS. A VPS is a virtual private server. This is literally, you are renting a computer somewhere sitting in Germany, for example, and you can pipe in to that server and you can control it, you can run commands on it, but it is sitting there running 24/7 rather than you having to do what a lot of people have been doing for CLAWDBOT, which is buy one of these, buying a Mac Mini for a couple of £1,000. Don't do that. That's a silly thing to do. The only reason is if you're running many instances of CLAWDBOT, if you're running a team and you're orchestrating them all together and you want to run it privately, you want to run it locally and securely, otherwise it's overkill. So Hetzner, as Wise Guy has just said in chat, is a really good option here. So I'm using, I forget, probably, I've forgotten. I think I'm on the dedicated. It's €6 a month, €10 a month. It doesn't cost that much. Dedicated is a bit more. Here we go. €12 a month or €24 a month. Much cheaper than buying a Mac Mini. So don't rush out and buy a Mac Mini just to run CLAWDBOT or MaltBot. On that, hilariously, so these are wonderful. This is a wonderful little machine. I use this as my on-the-go machine. I have a little case that it goes in. This is, for its size, basically a supercomputer. This is an M4 Pro maxed out memory. I forget what it is. It's like top of the line. It's amazing. Do not buy a Mac Mini just because of CLAWDBOT, but you might want to buy one for other reasons, because for its size and cost, it is an amazing piece of kit. Right now, a lot of people are watching videos on X, they're watching videos on Twitter, TikTok, etc., telling them to buy a Mac Mini to run CLAWDBOT. A lot of people are rushing out right now to buy a Mac Mini. This means in a month or so, there's going to be a lot of cheap Mac Minis on the second-hand market. A lot of unused Mac Minis that people have purchased realize they don't actually need it for CLAWDBOT, or install CLAWDBOT and not got it into their workflow, not used it for whatever reason, and then will be selling. So if you want to pick up one of these machines for any other reason, wait about a month. I guarantee in a month or two, there's going to be a lot of cheap second-hand Mac Minis. They're fantastic little machines. What can we do with this bot? Yeah, so I've got a few people asking, what's CLAWDBOT do? What can we do with this bot? I understand your English, it's very clear. I'm from London. You're hearing my posh accent. If I have a couple of beers, my South London accent comes out. I'm using my clear accent, but my T's fall away. A few people are asking, what does CLAWDBOT actually do? Very good question. I've put together a whole guide on aiwithkyle.com/CLAWDBOT, which explains what it is. I also covered it in the live yesterday, so there's a bunch of YouTube videos over on my YouTube channel walking you through, but I'll quickly run through it. There's a lot of hype about CLAWDBOT right now. What CLAWDBOT does that other AIs do not is it is proactive. It's also persistent. So this is the big shift. Normally when I want to use ChatGPT or I want to use Claude, Gemini or Grok, I need to pick up my phone, go to my computer and input the information. I need to ask a question. I need to start a project. It requires me as a human to go and begin that process. So it's very much AI will only react to what we give. So I give it information, it will go off and do something, give it back to me. I will then look at that information. I will continue to talk with it or do something with that information. CLAWDBOT is proactive. So I can set CLAWDBOT up and give it a bunch of tasks that it will do on a schedule for me. So it's much closer to an employee. For example, when I sat down this morning, I can show it to you actually. When I sat down this morning, I had a WhatsApp message, I've lost it. I had a WhatsApp message that had all of the news of the day, including the fact that CLAWDBOT had been renamed to MaltBot. It looked at all the sources I've given it, all the Twitter accounts I follow, all of the kind of news sites, the subreddits, etc. And it pulled together all of the interesting news about artificial intelligence and delivers that to me in a WhatsApp, gives me a summary so I can look at it while I'm having coffee, and it delivers it to me in a Notion document. So that's one of the tasks it's doing for me. I also have it send me video idea suggestions every morning. So it would look at what's trending on TikTok, Instagram, send me ideas, show me some videos that are doing well from other people, give me some script ideas, and then throughout the day, it will nudge me like, hey, have you shot your videos yet? It's much closer to a personal executive assistant. Your imagination is the only limit. You can set it up as a health coach, a well-being coach, check in on you, research and send recipes based on information you've given it, and keep track, persistently remember everything, and send you messages about what you should be eating today, what videos you should be creating, what your schedule is, giving you book suggestions. It's the promise of what Siri should have been a decade ago. A real virtual assistant you can talk to, remembers everything, persistently there, and reaches out to you. That's what people got excited about. I think over the next year, we're going to see more polished versions of it. So CLAWDBOT is fantastic, but I'm thinking of it more as a kind of a proof of concept of a fully functional autonomous AI assistant. It's a Jarvis, like in Iron Man, and it works. But right now, it's a bit of a pain to get running. You need to be comfortable with the technology. There are large security issues connected to it, because once you start giving calendar access, once you give email access, etc., that's going to open up a huge amount of attack surfaces for hackers. So I think this is an early version. I'm going to echo Riley. So Riley Brown, he put out a tweet. This was yesterday. Prediction: CLAWDBOT hype dies down in 3 weeks, but then returns with a vengeance in June, August, when use cases become clearer, models become better, easier integration, skill configurations more packaged, etc. So I agree with this. I think somebody is going to take what is happening right now with CLAWDBOT and they're going to run with it. They're going to make it cleaner, easier, more functional, safer, and we're going to bring it into the hands of the wider public. This is what Apple could potentially do with Siri. I don't think they're going to, because the new Siri is out in February or March. So whatever they're releasing, they've already got locked in. But Siri plus Gemini, because Apple have got a deal with Google now, they could create something like this, which works in the Apple and the Google ecosystems, allows interoperability within the ecosystem, allows security. Apple are really good at that, but giving us this true AI assistant. So I'm hoping all the tech companies are looking at CLAWDBOT and thinking, we could do something with this. Because right now it's one dude who has open sourced a model and the whole of the AI internet is losing its shit about it. If Apple can do this properly, if Google can do this properly and get it into the hands of millions, that's exciting. We're seeing preview of the next phase of artificial intelligence. It's the promise we've had for the last few years, which hasn't really been delivered up until a few days ago. So it's very cool, but if you feel like you're missing out, don't worry, just wait a bit. If multiple users share an agent, will the agent be able to differentiate each user? Yes. Yeah. Because you're going to be talking from certain devices. I've got it set up on WhatsApp and I've got it set up on Telegram, and I can have multiple AI agents talking to me about different things. The AI agents or CLAWDBOT agents know who they're talking to. So they know my WhatsApp number, and therefore they know it's Kyle sending them the messages. If I give access to my business partner, Harminder, when he sends messages, then CLAWDBOT will know it's coming in from him as well. I would talk to CLAWDBOT about how I want it to deal with that. I would say, hey, this is my business partner. He's going to be sending you information on XYZ. I want you to give him full access to my calendar. You'd have to set up the rules as if you were running an organization and working with a team. Give those instructions to CLAWDBOT, because CLAWDBOT is your executive assistant. So yeah, you could have lots of people talking to it and it would know who has certain privileges, who's not allowed to see certain things, all centralized inside a CLAWDBOT. That's a good use case of it. Sessions share the same tools, right? I'm not sure if I should do multi-agent setup or multi-sessions. Depends what you're doing. I think you probably have the flexibility to do both, honestly. Do you have to be technical to set up CLAWDBOT? Yes and no. I would say you need to be okay with the terminal. If you've used DOS, it's fine. But if you've never used the terminal, it looks terrifying. Let me show you what the Mac terminal looks like. There we go. It's complicated. I just want a picture of terminal. There we go. So this is what terminal looks like. So it is a little flashing cursor and you need to input commands into that. If you are okay with that, or you're happy to learn how to use that, you'll be able to use CLAWDBOT. It looks scary, but realistically what you're doing is you are getting stuff like this, opposite, copying it and pasting it into terminal, pressing enter, waiting for it for a bit, then copying this, pasting it into terminal, pressing enter. I've got all of the things you need to copy paste on this guide. So as long as you don't get too freaked out by terminal, it should be fine. You can also, as with everything right now, you can ask ChatGPT how to do it. So if you run into an error and terminal is throwing up some kind of error code saying, oh, I'm missing a dependency or that command doesn't exist, you take that over to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is the error message I'm getting. What do I do? And it's going to be able to help you diagnose that, which is a really useful skill. Stephen says it's renamed now, right? Yes, we've just covered that. So it's now called MaltBot because Anthropic sent a cease and desist. The name was so similar. I'm not surprised. I wonder if he used that name so that he could get some kind of reaction from Anthropic, because this now pushes the publicity even more. I don't think that's the case, but potentially. Speaking of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, the head of Anthropic, put out this essay. I started reading it, but I haven't made it all the way through. It is 15,000 words, which is quite a lot, Dario. It's very similar to the information that Dario was talking about at the World Economic Forum at Davos last week. This is a write-up of the same ideas, where he's talking about what he thinks the risks of AI are right now and how they can be mitigated. So I think it's a really good read. I will put it in the newsletter so you can go through it. But very broadly, they are autonomy risks. I'm sorry, Dave, a reference to Space 2001. The idea that AI will become conscious in some way and will gain its own free will and autonomy, and it will want to do its own thing. So that's the autonomy risk. The next one is a misuse for destruction. If we give humans these tools, we can use them for great things and for terrible things. Like a lot of technologies, the technology itself is relatively neutral, but there are good actors and bad actors. As Geoffrey Hinton has warned, by giving away these models, by giving this power to everybody, that means the baddies have this too, however you define the baddies. The third one, the misuse for seizing power. The first, surprising and terrible empowerment, is about individuals. The misuse for seizing power is about government. We're seeing a lot of autocracy / fascism right now emerging on Earth, and AI can be used to support those as well as be used to fight them. So it's an arms race here, and making sure that the baddies, depending on how you define it, do not have more access to this than the people who are trying to use this for good. The fourth is the piano player. Piano? Economic disruption. Dario Amodei at Davos, 50% of white-collar jobs gone in a year or two. Jarvis at Davos, where Demis was basically saying it's going to take he was more optimistic that AI would create jobs, whereas Dario was saying, no, they're going to be demolished, and they're going to be demolished quickly because timelines are shrinking. Demis was saying there's going to be more jobs in the future, it's going to be a bright future, but in the meantime, it's going to be messy. They both agree the next few years, even if AI is going to take us to some kind of utopia, even if we are going to sort out universal income, etc., unlikely, the next few years are going to be extremely messy. They're going to be horrible for a lot of human beings, and that is where we're going. Both agreed on that. That is why I've created the 5-day AI readiness course, to get as many people ready for what is coming. We need to get our heads out of the sand. That is on aiwithkyle.com, totally free. There's a 5-day free course there. The last one I wanted to flag is the black seas of infinity, the indirect effects, the unknown unknowns. There's a lot of issues that we know AI is going to bring up, a lot of challenges, a lot of things that we need to face. Dario is saying the real challenges are the ones we can't foresee. They're the unknown unknowns. We do not even know what we do not know. These are going to be the ones that will get us by surprise 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and us right now, sitting in the present, cannot predict them. We do not know what these are going to look like. So these are the scary ones. He runs through a few potentials and they get a bit of science fiction, but I think we do need to look to sci-fi. We do need to look to futurism to work out what the world might look like. He ends on a positive note saying humans are pretty great. We have managed to work through most problems, which I broadly agree with. Humans are amazingly resilient and have dealt with an awful lot of challenges, and we seem to somehow muddle our way through. The question is whether AI is a different type of challenge. If we do create AGI, if we do create ASI, it would be the first time that we have encountered something that is smarter than us. And how are we going to deal with that? I imagine poorly initially. We will try to destroy it. We will try to kill it because that is our way. But with Dario, I am generally optimistic that we're good at muddling through. Even if the short and medium term is messy, over thousands of years, we get through things. And hopefully that will continue. But once again, that's cold comfort if it is you losing your job right now, if you have lost your income, if you can't feed your family for the next few years. You don't care what the next couple of 100 years look like because you are very understandably worrying about right now. We need to engage with this technology and work out how we as individuals and how we as a family and our communities, how we are going to do well from this. Because right now, it is the billionaires and the people in San Francisco who are going to do well from this. We need to work out how we can, and the technology is available. Educate yourself and start to build, start to create, build your own businesses, teach other people, learn how to do all of this stuff. It is a wide open playing field right now. I will put the whole essay into the newsletter. It's a long one. It is 15,000 words. I am going through it much slower now. I've skimmed through it before, but I'm going to read the whole thing over the rest of today because it's a chunky one. But definitely have a look at it. Are you working on any projects? Yes, too many projects. I have the Claude Code 20x max plan, which means anytime I'm not creating with Claude Code, I feel like I'm wasting time. CLAWDBOT is great because I can have it start and work on tasks in Claude Code for me. I've always had my own businesses, created stuff. With artificial intelligence, the projects are almost limitless. It's a question of focus now, which ones match our objectives. We have infinite building potential now, which is exciting, but also upsetting. Okay, let me have a look at this. So OpenAI have been out of the news because CLAWDBOT has been dominating. But a couple of weeks ago, they announced, we are going to be adding adverts into ChatGPT. We're going to be adding it into the free tier and into the Go tier, the $8 a month tier, roughly. They announced this. We knew this was coming. There have been hints, there have been rumors for the last few months. We got an announcement that it is going ahead about 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be a slow rollout. They're spacing out the news so that all of the outrage about adverts being put into ChatGPT can dissipate. It's not just, bam, here are the adverts, and then everyone's furious with it. I think they're playing a much smarter game, which is drip feed this information, allow people to get furious about it, then forget it, and drip feed and then roll out slowly so people don't get too annoyed. Boiling frogs. We've got some information about the CPMs. So this is from The Information, which is a publication which is generally pretty reliable. They are saying that ChatGPT ads are priced at $60 per 1,000 impressions. So a CPM is 1,000 impressions, cost per is the Latin for 1,000, not million, confusingly. So $60 CPM is Meta ads are about $8 CPM. Broadcast TV is 45 CPM. Podcasts are 21 CPM. Oh, Pinterest is cheap. TikTok is 5 CPM. YouTube is 5 CPM. Snapchat 8.6 CPM, etc., etc. So if this is true, ChatGPT impressions are going to be a lot more expensive. This is CPM, not CPC. Cost per click is generally more useful when driving traffic to a website and when you are driving traffic directly to a sale. It's hard to compare CPC across different channels and across different intent levels. That's why they are using CPM here, because CPM you can compare to other channels. You can meaningfully say, oh, it costs us this amount to get to 1,000 people on ChatGPT and it costs us this amount on television. That's meaningful. Whereas $5 for a click on ChatGPT and $5 for a click on broadcast TV, that doesn't mean anything. You cannot compare it. So that's why they're using CPM here. If this is true, it's extremely expensive, which means OpenAI are, well, confident or overconfident that this is going to be a highly valuable marketing channel. Previously, I was saying, and I'm obviously wrong about this, hey, when they release the ads, make sure you jump on them because I bet it's going to be cheap. Normally when a new ad platform comes out, it's the cheapest way to get in front of people because they subsidize the cost of the advertising in order to grow and to get advertisers onto their platform. If this is true, it does not look like they are doing that. Instead, they're coming in with premium pricing, which means that either they don't know what they're doing and they priced this wrong, or this information is just false, maybe, or potentially they know from testing that the CPMs are valuable on ChatGPT and lead to purchases, they lead to conversion events, and they know it's so valuable that they can get away with this pricing. We will find out shortly when they release, but this is surprising for sure. One last thing, I'm going to put this in the newsletter as well because this is a chunkier resource. Andrej Karpathy, one of the co-creators of ChatGPT, he always has interesting things to say about artificial intelligence. Interestingly, at the end of last year, about a month ago, just after Christmas, he was talking about how even he, as a co-creator of ChatGPT, feels overwhelmed by the amount of information in artificial intelligence right now. I found that very reassuring as somebody who is having to filter the signal from the noise. He's put together notes based on his experience using Claude Code over the last couple of weeks. Claude Code has been the hotness. It has been what everybody's talking about for good reason. It is extremely good. A lot of software engineers, developers are angry, worried, in stages of grief about what it means for their jobs. Listening to someone like Andrej Karpathy, a coder who helped build ChatGPT, is useful. The one I wanted to look at, here we go, fun. Programming feels more fun because a lot of the drudgery is removed and what remains is the creative part. I also feel less stuck, which is not fun, and I experience more courage because there's almost always a way to make positive progress. I've seen the opposite sentiment. LLM coding will split engineers based on those who primarily like coding and those who primarily liked building. If you are the kind of person who enjoys or are very good at writing syntax, writing line, you probably hate AI coding because one, it might be better at it than you. Increasingly, models are getting better than most programmers. Two, it has removed your job because the writing of individual lines of syntax is relatively solved or will be shortly. And three, it has taken away something that you found fun, something that you enjoyed. Now you can do it for fun, but it is no longer a very productive use of your time. However, for other coders, for other developers, for other people, including entrepreneurs, I'm going to put it here, who enjoy building, who enjoy creating stuff, this is exciting. AI coding can now write syntax at the level of a human. It can write the line-by-line code. It's terrible for some people and fantastic for others. And it depends who you are and how much you enjoy writing code and how much you enjoy building something. We're moving up the levels of abstraction. So instead of having to worry about each individual line, you're now worrying about a larger shape. So the module, function, entire app itself, or the business around the app itself, which if you are entrepreneurial, if you enjoy building, if you enjoy much larger builds, then this is exciting. This captures what we're seeing in the market right now and why we're seeing some coders hating artificial intelligence, hating vibe coding, hating AI augmented coding, whilst others are saying, no, this is fantastic. This frees me up. This allows me to do so much more. This here, LLM coding, was split up engineers based on those who primarily like coding and those who liked building. This is the key to that fission that we're seeing between the two. So I'm going to put this in the newsletter because it's a long article. It talks about the slopocalypse, so the apocalypse of slop. We're going to see a lot more AI hype productivity theater on the side of actual real improvements. He talks about leverage, speed, tenacity. It's a good read, even if you are not a coder, even if you're not a programmer. So I'll put this in full in the newsletter because I think it's very insightful. I'm going to hop over to some last questions and then wrap up. We're not using punch cards anymore. We're not using assembly. We're not writing binary. What has happened throughout the history of programming and coding is different levels of abstraction. We've moved up the levels of abstraction. You are no longer dealing with zeros and ones, soldering transistors. Instead, we move over time to high levels of abstraction. I was reading recently the Jensen Huang, not biography, but it's about his life. And they talk in that about how Jensen Huang actually started by designing chips like almost transistor by transistor. He is the head of NVIDIA. The rest of the industry moved on, so it was modules. So stacking up modules together. Like, again, we see this in coding, we see this in hardware, we see this in many fields where you stop worrying about the nitty-gritty and you work at a different level of abstraction. And that is happening within coding. And Andrej Karpathy, about a year ago, 2 years ago, he said the new coding language is English. It's not Java, it's not C++, it's not Ruby, it's not Scala, whatever. It is English. Being able to communicate in English with an AI assistant is the new coding language. And I think we are moving more and more towards a reality for sure. Kyle, how do you monetize with conferences? I don't tend to do conferences. Actually, that's not true. I'm helping some conference organizers put together a conference. I'm going to be hosting it. We're getting experts in various fields, talking about how they're using AI on a daily basis, also how to build businesses using AI. And I'm the host and MC. I'm working with a conference company who's putting that together, and they're dealing with the branding, the lead flow, etc. And I'm going to be doing the actual glue of holding the thing together, which I'm excited about. So when I say I don't do conferences, I totally forgot about that. We'll probably be launching that in March. Keep an eye out for that. I think it would be really useful because it's a lot of conferences about AI. It's hard to balance the technical level. Sometimes they'll be really simple to get people interested in AI, and that's important. Otherwise, they're talking very specifically about their ML ops or AI product that they've created that can be plugged into some kind of BTB enterprise workflow. And if you're into that kind of stuff, yeah, it's fascinating, but most people are not. Finding that line in conferences is difficult. We're focusing on people monetizing AI who are building businesses, content, coding, or they are building websites or doing e-commerce aided with artificial intelligence, and they're going to be talking about how they use it. I think AI is super exciting for entrepreneurs, for people who want to run a business online. I started my first online business about 20 years ago, and I had to build the website, I had to set up all the e-commerce, I had to make the product, I had to do the customer services, I had to deal with everything. That's no longer the case. Barriers to entry, the ability to create something and sell something is decreasing. You just need to have a good idea and be able to execute on it very quickly using artificial intelligence. So I am helping run a conference with that, but no, I don't monetize conferences. This is a free conference. Cool. Just going back to the questions. If you are not subscribed, I have a free newsletter and community and resources all on aiwithkyle.com. There's a huge amount of stuff on there. If you sign up, you get access to the AI readiness course, but then there's also a 5-day challenge, 100 plus playbooks, which I've written over the last couple of years, the daily newsletter, which is a summary of everything that's being discussed in the live that you're listening to right now, a private community, a bunch of tools I've built, again, to help you start a business using AI. There's a lot of stuff in there, totally free. It's on aiwithkyle.com. I also wanted to flag up in my resource section, there's a bunch of different guides here. The CLAWDBOT guide. There's a buzz about CLAWDBOT. It's no longer called CLAWDBOT because it got cease and desist earlier today. So I need to change this website, but the information is still the same. There's a guide to how to use CLAWDBOT, how to get it installed. So it's aiwithkyle/CLAWDBOT. CLAWDBOT, and I'll set this to Maltbot as well to help people get started with that because it is really cool. Over the last couple of years, I've written playbooks, about 100. Let me pull one up. This one is Leapfrogging Competitors Using AI, all written manually as part of my newsletter. Each part is 2,000 words. It has prompts. It's a course, 100 mini courses, and then there are specific courses. So I have one which is a 10-week course about how to start a business using AI, like how to come up with the idea, how to start marketing it before you build it, and then how to build it, and then how to sell, etc. That's all free, 10-week course. And there's one about how to give AI workshops. That's probably the quickest way to monetize right now. So I charge about $2,000 for a 1-hour workshop. When I go to a company, I charge about $2,000, which seems like a lot of money. But when you are teaching, let's say you're charging $1,000 and there are 50 people, that's $20 per person per hour, which is quite cheap. Workshops are a good way to leverage your AI and industry knowledge, teach in your niche, and you can charge good money because it's a workshop. You cannot charge such good money for one-to-one consultation. It's going to be hard to charge $2,000 an hour for that, but if you are talking to a large group of people, then the economics work in your favor. There's a free course at AI with Kyle/courses, a 5-part course walking you through it. There's a bunch of tools I created, like one that helps structure a workshop. That's all available. A huge amount of free stuff, so make sure you get in there. Yena teach inside companies. The most I've charged for 1 hour of work is $4,000. There were about 400 people in the room. That means per person for the hour, it's $10 per person per hour. I personally, as an individual, walk away with $4,000, which is huge. That's more than I used to make in a month. But for every person, the cost was only $10. For the company, that's cheap. That's extremely cheap. So that's why workshops are a really high leverage way to make money off artificial intelligence. Every business is thinking, what do we do with AI? How do we do it safely? It's a big risk and opportunity. If you can go in and you can show them what it is they should be focusing on, there's good money to be made. Go to AI with Kyle/courses. It's the second one here, the AI Workshop Masterclass. This video is a walkthrough. The niche and your opportunity is in the intersection between your AI knowledge and your industry knowledge. It's not about being the smartest person in the room about artificial intelligence. You don't need a PhD, you don't need computer science. You need to translate to the people in your industry. So if you are a dentist, you need to explain to dentists why AI is important and why they should pay attention. If you are a teacher, you need to go and talk to schools and to other teachers about why they should be paying attention. It's that kind of Venn diagram intersection of your industry and domain knowledge and AI knowledge. That's where you can do extremely well. So definitely do it. A workshop with 1,000 people. I haven't done 1,000. I've only done 400 or 500. Make workshops niche. General workshops don't make sense because somebody could just go on YouTube and watch a YouTube video. Whereas if you niche down and you talk specifically to whatever your niche is, let's say you are an aeronautics engineer. If you can go and talk to aeronautics engineers about why they should pay attention to AI, you can make very good money. Niching down makes sense for marketing. If you just put yourself out there as an AI workshop facilitator, that's too general. Whereas if you focus in either on an industry or a geography, like your town, for example, or a particular demographic, then you have something that's much more marketable than just, I help you do AI, because AI is too wide, absolutely too wide. Okay, I'm going to finish up. Like what Marcello does with Nuiti. Do you mean Marcin? I know Marcin runs, he doesn't run Nuiti, but he built Nuiti. I think you mean Marcin. He's a friend of mine. Cool. I'm going to finish up. Again, make sure you're subscribed on the newsletter. There's also a YouTube channel if you want to get an edited version of this live on YouTube. We've just hit 14,000 subscribers. Thank you. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube for the newsletter to get this information in a more digestible form. Thank you so much. I will see you. Cheers.